Hi everybody, welcome back to MSP 2741. This is session 6, and this session and the two critiques that go along with it will be due by Sunday 3:23 at midnight. Today what we're going to be talking about is just kind of recapping the homepage and navigation lessons very briefly. I want to quickly recap how we do the critiques, what kind of critiques I'm looking for. I'm going to take you through the homepage and navigation critiques and do a little example using my own site. And then I want to talk to you very briefly about using an email account that corresponds with your project. So that's what's on tap today. Okay, so in terms of the homepage assignment, I really just wanted you to take a look at a couple of things in particular that will really lay the groundwork for your design and for the entire website, especially being that the homepage theme will likely carry through the rest of the site and should carry through the rest of the site. So there's a lot of stuff here on color, what different colors mean, the idea of picking the right color for whatever project you're doing, right? If it's about gardening and going green, you probably want to use the color green, right? Or you might want to use images of flowers, things that sort of make sense there, right? Um, and so I really just asked you some questions about what might these colors symbolize and how might the colors aid in your design for symbolizing things about your particular project, right? Are they warm colors? Are they cold colors? How do the colors work together? Is it black and white, right? How will the font appear? Will the font be a different color? Will that be set off on your background or will it not, right? So these are the kinds of things that I wanted you to think about. In terms of visual direction, it's really about setting up your site so that the viewer's eye travels where you want it to travel, right? And so a lot of times things like pictures, not necessarily of an actual arrow, but the direction people's heads are facing, right? Where pictures of people are looking, that's going to draw the viewer's eye and direct the viewer to very particular information. So you want to be careful about how you use images and the direction that they are sort of directing the viewer to. I also really wanted you to think about your font, right? So we did the assignment, the font personality assignment. I really got a kick out of looking at everyone's different little blurbs and the way they used font. It was really cool to see that everyone picked something different that really represented their personality. For a lot of you, there is some direct translation between the font you selected for yourself and the type of project you're doing, right? So, for one example, there's a student working with gaming, right? And the font was a very game style font, like an 8-bit font. That could really work on the website, right? A lot of times these fancy fonts too work great as headers, not necessarily as the actual text. So you want to play around with that, right? And in terms of the homework, I really wanted you to focus on building up this homepage, building up the color scheme, what's happening on it, and you're going to kind of transition from that through navigation into the main menu pages, and it's all going to kind of work together. Now, in terms of navigation, let's just go to that one real quick. Navigation is really about visibility, it's about readability, and there's a lot of different ideas about what usable is in terms of navigation. And we're going to look at my website and I'm going to critique that a little bit and show you how you can help your classmates in making their navigation and their homepage very readable and very user-friendly. And so, you can use words, you can use images, you can put the navigation in the footer or in the body of the actual website or up here on the menu bar. There's lots of different ways that you can help people to navigate your site, and you can make them really creative, right? So something like this website, I asked you to kind of navigate through these and just see the different ways that people are designing their websites and using navigation. Of course, you're going to be limited by something like Weebly or any other, WordPress, any other site that you're using, unless you know coding really well. But you can still get away with a lot of things on Weebly, right? You can still mimic some of these designs by playing with the columns, playing with the spacing, that kind of thing. So really, I don't expect you to have any main menu pages yet, but I want the navigation in there, right, for that assignment. I want to see the pages you intend to use and where you're going to put that navigation. So they might link to nothing right now. They might link to a blank page, but that's okay because you're going to fill those in. So now, just as a reminder for the critique assignments, which we're going to be doing a lot of from here on out, I just wanted to give a reminder that these are really the types of comments I'm expecting. The affirmation like, yes, you're doing good, I like this design, here's why. A suggestion of how to improve their design. Resources that they might use, if you have a great design website or you frequent a website that has great navigation, link that. Let people see what it is so they can see a model of good design. And you can also ask a series of questions, helping the person to flesh out their ideas. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go over this again in a little bit, but just the idea that you're going to affirm something, suggest, provide a resource, or ask some questions, or really any combination of those things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the Summerbridge website and just sort of critique the website as if I was critiquing someone else's, right? And this is going to hopefully give you an idea of what I'm looking for. So, okay, you navigate to your group members' websites, right? You're going to go to all 4 of the other websites. I want you to take a good look at them, right? Whether they have a lot of things going on or very little, whatever it is. You're looking at what's here. So first off, what I might critique this for is, all right, we've got these moving images. I'm going to kind of look at them all. Oh, that's a cute one. This one's nice. I might look at some of these, and some of them are actually pretty grainy, right? So this one is not the best shot, right? It's really cute. It's a great picture. That's why I ended up using it on this site. But what I might comment on this person's critique page is, some of these shots are a little bit grainy. The one on the bus, this one right here, in the classroom, it might be more effective if you selected pictures that had better quality. It would probably look more professional. That would be an appropriate critique, right? You notice something that's okay, it kind of works, or it doesn't work at all, and you offer a suggestion about how to fix it. All right, so I scroll down. I see the color scheme is pretty much, it's white on black with orange, yellow, and red. I might say something like, you know what, I really love the idea of the warm colors, especially because it's named Summerbridge. It takes place during the summertime. It's about excitement and energy, and those colors go really well with it. Scrolling down, I like that there's lots of pictures, although it might be a little bit busy. I love this idea of putting the tweets right here, so you can actually embed a widget on your Weebly that allows it so when you post on Twitter, you can actually, it'll just post it right to your website. I think this is a good idea. Here, let's see here, what do I do? Okay, click on the pictures to the right. All right, so it's giving me good direction. So a comment I might make is, I really appreciate the direction of how to use the different functions. So I click on it, and okay, great, it's to a different website, or at least a different page. So my comment might be, oh, I really love how it opens a new page. It doesn't navigate away from the site. It's exactly what I expected. So that's a sort of affirmation comment. I might say something like, well, the contact is down here, but it feels like maybe it should be up top. Why don't you play around with the positioning of it? Does it have, can the contact form be directly on this home page? These are the kinds of suggestions you might want to offer, right? Let's let it see if it's going to navigate there. Okay, so here's the contact page. Maybe you should put this on the home page. I like the idea that you stipulate you're not looking for any kind of threatening, abusive language, that you won't respond to those kinds of comments. It's good to stipulate that on an education website. So we go back. All right, so I'm going to go down to the footer. Let's see if it'll get me there. All right, I might say, okay, I like the use of, the colors here. All right, we've got a link to the other website, who it's produced by. I like this. Translate it. We've got Google Translate here. Suggest something overall about the site that I like, different parts of it. I think they're working together. The images, lots of images of the kids smiling works really well. I like that there's different media on the page, that you really emphasize the blog, which is an important feature. Although I think I would, again, play around with where the contact sheet is, and I might upgrade some of these images. Those are the kinds of things that you might be talking about in terms of homepage critiques. In terms of navigation critiques, you're really going to be looking at what's on the main menu, Are there drop-down menus? Are there links, right? And how do I know they're links? Do they change colors? Are they in different colors to begin with? Are the sites, are the links, bigger than everything else, right? So you're looking at font and style. Are the links images? How do they work? So for this particular website, I might say, you know what? There are 1 million different tabs here. It's super confusing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Usually 5 to 7 is a good number. So you might want to see if you can combine some of these, make them a little bit more efficient. There's also a ton of drop-down menus upon drop-down menus upon drop-down menus, especially for a site with children and ESL speakers or non-native English speakers. It might get really confusing. So if you were commenting on this page, you might offer some strategies, some suggestions of how I could change this, right? How I could condense it, how I could make it easier to navigate, okay? I might comment on the fact that I've already got some social media tags set up, right? Do they work up here, right? This is what Weebly allows me, but do they work here? Do I want to put those images down here in the footer and make them bigger and link them to my sites, right? Do I want to use more buttons like this as links? Do I want to continue to use images as links? And how will I let people know they're links? Should I wipe out this entire page and make it just images and those are links, right? Where are the links going? These are the kinds of things I want you to critique. If you go on someone's website and you cannot figure out where their navigation is supposed to lead you, something's amiss, right? Something's wrong and you need to help them sort through it. If it's just a bunch of gobbledygook, it's just there's no structure to the page or where you look for the links, you need to comment on that, right? Links, a lot of times it's helpful if they turn a different color when you scroll over them so that you know they're a link. If it's inconsistent, you need to point that out too, right? Like up here, I don't know why this is appearing orange when it says that the words are supposed to be red when they're linked, right? So that's an inconsistency that you would want to point out. So these are the kinds of things, again, that I'm looking for. It's about not tearing down the design of someone else, but pinpointing what works or pinpointing what isn't quite working, but offering suggestions as to how you might make that work. So before we move on to the last part of the session, I do want to go over the critique process again in terms of what you do on Google Drive. So some groups kind of got this a little bit wrong last time in terms of the format, how I expected it to be. So I emailed those groups just to kind of check in with them, but I also want to go over this again just for everyone's sake to make sure that we're all on the same page. So you're going to go into your group folders, right, the overall group folder, into your own group folder. Once you pull up your group folder, we're going to be doing homepage and navigation critique, session 6. And what you're going to see is that each person has 2 separate pages here, right? So we've got 5 people in this group: Adam, Beretta, Brindisi, Chamberlain, and Chimmel. And each of those people has a homepage critique form and a navigation critique form, okay? So if I'm Adam, I'm going to comment on everyone else's documents except for my own, okay? You don't want to comment on the document with your last name on it. So when I open up Adam's, what I expect is this. Beretta will put her comments on Adam's homepage here. Brindisi will put his comments on Adam's homepage here. Chamberlain will put his comments on Adam's homepage here. Chimmel will put her comments on Adam's homepage here. The same thing goes for the navigation critique. It's going to look exactly the same except you're critiquing navigation. And again, each person is going to comment on Adam's. That's how it's going to work. The reason I'm doing this is that when you click on your own page, you will see everyone's comments for your material. You won't have to click on 5 different pages. You just click on one and you see all the comments on your home page, right? You click on your navigation critique and you're going to see all the comments on your navigation. So just once again, you're going to be commenting on everyone's sheets except for the ones with your own last name on it, okay? If you have questions, feel free to email me. It should hopefully be pretty straightforward. And again, this time, please remember, you're doing both the homepage critique and the navigation critique for each person in your group except your own. Okay. Another thing I want to just really quickly go over is the announcements page on the website. I know there's a lot of moving parts and pieces to this course. I think for the most part it's set up in a pretty self-explanatory way, in a pretty straightforward way. However, this is the first time I'm doing the course in this particular fashion, so there's going to be some bumps, right? There's going to be some potential confusion. I need you to very much understand that this announcements page is where all the important information about the class is going to be, right? So I just recently posted about updating the syllabus and how I changed the numbering system on the lessons. I know that was confusing, so I changed it so that you can see lesson 1 is Weebly, screenshots, Google Drive. Lesson 2, social movement, selecting cause, right? So I redid the numbers that way to clear up some confusion. I also just posted that I graded these particular assignments and that I commented on your post directly, so you need to be looking at your posts, looking for the comments. This is also what's on tap, so things that are due tonight, things that are due in the next couple of days. So it's your job to check this. I'm not going to be sending emails. It is the rare occasion I'm going to send an email to this class because it just gets too confusing and I know things get lost. So it's your job to come to this page every day, every 2 days, and make sure that you've seen all the announcements. I know that this sidebar is getting really confusing. I'm posting things in chronologically, but I cannot figure out why they're kind of going in the wrong places. So just know that this blog page is in chronological order. This top one being the most recent post, and then they go backwards in time. So make sure that you've seen all the posts because this is where all the information is going to be, okay? Also, you need to be looking at my homework examples, okay? Sometimes people aren't doing this. I have all the different examples right here. You just have to click on it and there's even a link on the lesson page. So you can see exactly the format I want, the kinds of things I'm writing, all that stuff, okay? Homework examples page, very important. Let me close these out real quick. Okay, also wanted to bring this up. I sort of left a couple of comments for different people about this particular topic and I wanted to open it up to everyone because I think it's really important. It is a good idea to create a professional email account. So for example, I set one up for Summerbridge. It's lvsummerbridge.alumni@gmail.com. I think it's a good idea for all of you to create a website, or not a website, to create an email account that goes with your website, that goes with your project. This not only makes it more professional, but it makes it so much easier to organize your information. So I just kind of went into a couple of the benefits of doing this, why you might want to do it. And really I'm talking about Gmail, mostly because that's what I use and also because Temple's email is based on Gmail. It is Gmail. So you can create a Gmail account and things you can do with it is you can create an automatic signature. So you know when you get emails and at the bottom it says the person's name and their contact information, you can create it in the settings so that the emails will automatically have particular information. So you could put company information, quotes, links, all kinds of things. You can keep a very up-to-date contact list, right? Organize and maintain a list of contacts that are relevant to you and your organization. You can separate those people from your personal email. You can merge contacts from your personal email. You can, within their contact, document information like their email address, their phone number, different notes about them. You know, if it's a band, a contact for a lead singer of a band and you thought they were terrible, right, put that in there so you remember. Or if you thought they were outstanding, they had a great voice, write that note in there so that you remember. Add pictures to it, that kind of thing. You can organize it by groups, send out emails by groups. You can organize all the content by labels and folders, making it really easy to find what you want. Once you create that account, you'll also have a Google Drive attached to your organization, right? You can store all your information there about that organization so you don't have to sift through your personal email or your Temple email to find the documents you're looking for. Google also has a million other services that you might want to use, like a calendar for your organization. And it's about professionalism. It's about making your organization more legitimate. It's about showing people that who don't know you that you're a real organization, right? You also want to do very specific things when you correspond with people, whether that's through a formal email or through some other kind of messaging. There's some things that you should just do. Now, in terms of an email account, you want to pick as simple and effective name as possible. So I took actually some projects that are currently happening in this class and just kind of made a fake email for them to show you how you might want to turn your organization name into a simple email, right? So 215 Garden, you just change that to 215garden at gmail.com, right? Um, Something like making media make sense, maybe it just becomes media sense, or maybe you use the initials, right? Homemade for homeless, maybe it becomes H4H or homemade, right? The point is you want your email address to be easy to remember, easy to type. There's no chance that people will forget it. You also want to title all your emails. You can't send an email with no title because people are going to ignore it, right? You want to try to summarize the point of your email in that title. It's got to be clear and concise so people know that they should click on it. You also might want to title your links. So instead of saying something like, I just posted a new video showing the students' Mentos and Coke experiment with this giant YouTube link with all this gobbledygook letters in it, you might try something like, check out the students' latest experiment, and the link is tagged Mentos and Coke, right? Clear, to the point, it tells you exactly what they're looking at. Um, You also, when you put a lot of URLs in an email or in a contact, it's overwhelming, right? People don't want to look at it. You also want to make sure that you link those links, right? It sounds silly, but you want the links to be active so that when the person clicks on this title or on the URL, it actually takes them directly to that site. I try to remember to do that with all of you because it's just easier. When you just type in the URL and it's not clickable, people are going to ignore it, right? But when you can actually click on it, they're more likely to do that. In terms of professionalism, you need to start formal emails with a greeting, Dear Sir, Dear Mrs. Smith, Dear Gary, right? And you need to end them with a formal closing, sincerely, whatever your name is, right? You can't flat out tell people to do things for you, right? You have to be nice. And over the years, I've received a lot of different emails from a lot of students, and some of them are really professional, and some of them are not. And I will tell you that when the emails are snotty or rude or just are full of misspellings, um, it makes me not really thrilled to help that person, right? But if the email is well constructed, it's concise, it tells me exactly what they're asking, dear professor or dear staff, and then they're thanking me for my help, that makes me more inclined to actually help them. And you want people to help you. You, in fact, need people to help you. This is a project about getting people to your cause. You can't be rude to them, right? You can't demand things. It's got to be, I really need your help. If you could possibly help me, that would be appreciated. Thank you, right? As much as you can make your correspondence short and sweet, it's a good idea. A lot of the emails you sent for your trailers were right on, short, sweet, to the point. But please edit your emails. For goodness sakes, edit them. Make sure that they're not, full of misspellings. Make sure people's names are spelled correctly. I used to work as a grad assistant for the Lehigh's field hockey team that I played for, and I would constantly be looking at recruiting emails and letters. Whenever someone spelled the coach's name wrong or put the wrong coach name, just not even the coach at all, I just wouldn't look at it. I mean, honestly, if you can't pick the right name, you don't belong at this school, right? So nothing pisses people off more than spelling their name incorrectly, especially when it should be easy to find it, right? So make sure that you're going the extra step, especially if it's a correspondence that is really important and really formal. So this is just something I wanted to bring your attention to. It's something that I think would really benefit a lot of you. And especially if you do a Gmail account, you're going to link right to YouTube. And a lot of you could really use YouTube to further your particular movement. So these are all the things I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully they will be helpful to you. Again, if you have any questions, just email me, and the sooner the better, right? If you email me 2 hours before something's due, I'm not likely to get back to you. But if you email me early, ahead of time, if you have a problem, you're confused, email me, right? If something is confusing, I want to make sure that I fix that. okay? This is the first time I've done the course this particular way, so there might be something confusing, right? And I'm gonna, first of all, fix those things for next semester, but also take your concerns into account. If I feel that I have wronged you or messed up, I'm certainly gonna go back and try and rectify that for you, right? If I think you messed up because you didn't pay attention, well, that's on you, but I'm certainly going to try and make things as fair for everyone as possible. So again, the sooner you email, the better. And again, if you email me on Tuesday nights during my office hours, I am sure to get back to you. That is a sure way to get my very quick response. So that's always a good option. Anyway, that's all for this session. I will see you next time, and I'm signing off.